Ladies and gentlemen, The Undertaker has returned to Smackdown Live, and he's laid down some grave consequences to Team Smackdown if they do not win at Survivor Series. Let's talk about it. What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. Tuesday night, Smackdown Live, November 15th, 2016. This is your official review and results for tonight's show, the last Smackdown before the 2016 Survivor Series. This Sunday live on the WWE Network. If you guys missed earlier, I did a video regarding the 2016 Survivor Series, and I reported on the real reason why Shane McMahon was added to Team SmackDown in replace of Baron Corbin. If you guys missed that, link will be down in the description of this very review, and also in the annotations that you see on the screen if you're watching from PC or mobile. SmackDown, a lot of stuff to go over, guys. Obviously, the most notable thing being built up throughout this entire show is the return of The Undertaker. Why was he here? What was he doing on SmackDown Live? We got that answer towards the very end of the show. The other thing that was built up throughout this entire show was the cutting edge with a returning Edge. And he was there interviewing everybody on Team SmackDown. Shane McMahon, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Dean Ambrose, and WWE Champion AJ Styles. It's great to hear the sounds of Alter Bridge come out on the blue brand as always, man. Unbelievable fucking moment. Gives me feelings of nostalgia and feelings of good times when WWE was actually good. Edge, one of my favorites of all time. Looked like he was fucking like a Viking. Someone told me that he's on Discovery Channel in some type of Viking show on my Twitter. Not sure what that means or if he's still dressing up for Halloween. He looked like Mick Foley coming out there tonight. But Edge looked fantastic with the full-blown beard, the majestic hair, all that, man, looked fantastic. One could only imagine what Edge would still be doing if he was 100% healthy in the WWE. Such a sad shame and such a loss for us fans that we lost him so early due to retirement and a career-ending neck injury. He was out there in the closing segment, and he went back and forth with AJ Styles a little bit, and AJ Styles pretty much was upset because Edge wanted to congratulate Mr. James Ellsworth, and he said that he was very proud of him, and AJ Styles took offense to that, obviously, and then AJ Styles, in his cocky prick-like demeanor, said, I am the face that runs this place, I am the champ that runs this camp, you know, you should be asking me the most important questions, I'm the captain of this team, you know, so do your job and start asking the questions to the most important person on this team. So Edge, again, going back and forth with AJ Styles. He looks over at AJ and goes over to Randy Orton and addresses his former tag team partner in Rated RKO. Now, he wants to know, Randy, what's going on with you? Are you all there? You know, is Bray Wyatt going to be pulling the puppet strings behind you for you to actually utter some words here tonight on the cutting edge? And then Bray Wyatt interferes and says pretty much that this is going to be a different Viper, a more venomous Viper than we've ever seen in WWE at the Survivor Series. So don't worry about Randy Orton. He will be just fine. And I like the interaction between Wyatt. I like that Wyatt got in Edge's face. And I like the fact that Randy just stood there stoic. You know, it's still a mystery what's going on with those guys, but hopefully those answers will be revealed very shortly. And then obviously The Undertaker came out. We didn't hear anything from Ambrose. We didn't hear anything from Orton. We barely heard anything from Shane McMahon. All Edge asked Shane is, listen, bro, you're going to have your hands full at the Survivor Series. And then all of a sudden comes The Undertaker. Out comes the Taker. And, you know, it was nearing the 10 o'clock hour. And I was wondering if they were going to have time to get everything that they wanted in with The Undertaker. And they did, barely. But Undertaker comes down. His entrance took a full 17 minutes, as always. And he was there. And the most important thing that he stated tonight was that WrestleMania will no longer be the benchmark for him. Meaning that he's not going to be back just for WrestleMania. That he's going to be back, from what I interpreted, he's going to be back on a more regular basis. How regular of a basis that is, I don't know. But if The Undertaker is coming back to SmackDown for the time being, that is a huge fucking deal for SmackDown. I don't expect The Undertaker to be on every show, nor should he be. But The Undertaker is going to be back, and obviously, if they had him come out there and say that tonight, they obviously have plans in place for him going into 2017 that will keep him on television. I don't think The Undertaker's retiring at all, bro. So everything about Undertaker retiring, you know, career versus career match at WrestleMania with John Cena, whatever the case may be, we might not be seeing the end of The Undertaker. And I'm glad, because The Undertaker is one of the last remaining pieces to this company that embody our childhood. I don't want him to go away yet. I don't think he's ready to go away. He looks phenomenal. You know, I don't know if this guy found a fountain of youth somewhere, but he looks fantastic. And I'm glad that he's sticking around. Now, he did lay down grave consequences to Team SmackDown. Raw is going to rest in peace. If SmackDown does not win, and The Undertaker stated that he's always been blue, SmackDown is his home, the reason why he is back was to proclaim that he's going to be back on a more regular basis. That's what we interpreted. But he was also back to state that if Team SmackDown does not make Raw rest in peace, they will have to answer to the dead man. They're going to have to answer to The Undertaker. Bray Wyatt has nothing to do with that. Randy Orton has nothing to do with that. James Ellsworth obviously has nothing to do with that. And I'm looking at Ellsworth and I'm thinking in my head, I don't know if you guys were thinking about this, Ellsworth in the ring, you know? It's a familiar sight to see him in the ring with all these guys. Orton, Wyatt, Shane McMahon, Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles. He's been, you know, floating around the main event in this minuscule role that he has for the last couple of weeks. But to see James Ellsworth in the ring with The Undertaker, holy shit, man. Can you imagine what he was thinking tonight? That must have been the fucking highlight of this guy's life. Unbelievable stuff there, and congratulations to James Ellsworth. I mean, he must have been fucking unbelievably ecstatic to be in the same ring as The Undertaker. Unbelievable. But The Undertaker laying down grave consequences to Team SmackDown. Shane is not going to have to answer to The Undertaker, you know, because The Undertaker tipped his cap tonight. The Undertaker tipped his cap to Shane McMahon following their Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania and said there is no better candidate to commission SmackDown than the Daredevil himself, Shane McMahon. The man who obviously does not give a shit about fear. So he gave massive props to Shane McMahon, and that was a fucking massive coup on Undertaker's behalf to Shane McMahon. Obviously, the one I'm thinking about here that's going to have to answer to The Undertaker is AJ Styles, being that he is the WWE champion, he is the team captain, and I think The Undertaker making this announcement tonight somewhat swings the Team Raw side to favor, or this entire Survivor Series match, it goes in favor of Team Raw now. I honestly had a feeling going into this anyway that Team Raw was going to win, because why would Vince McMahon want the number one show, supposedly the number one show for the brand, the A show to lose at Survivor Series to the boys in blue over at SmackDown, right? SmackDown was always positioned as the number two show. Do you honestly think that WWE and Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn are going to have SmackDown beat Monday Night Raw at Survivor Series? No. No. And now we have a reason that if SmackDown loses, it's going to be okay, because the intrigue with The Undertaker and what he stated tonight is going to be hanging over everybody's actions at the Survivor Series. I'm actually hoping that SmackDown loses right now, because you know what this means? If The Undertaker is instilling fear in SmackDown, and what I mean by instilling fear in SmackDown is that instilling fear in AJ Styles. AJ Styles has to fucking put all this bullshit aside, because he's going to have to stare down The Undertaker if he does not lead his team to victory. This will in turn lead The Undertaker to pretty much go after AJ Styles and the WWE Championship, and that's how I think we get AJ Styles versus The Undertaker at Royal Rumble. That's how I think we get him at the Royal Rumble to go one-on-one with AJ Styles, because it has been rumored. It has been rumored. And there's going to be a big story on Off the Script for Saturday this coming weekend. So that's what I think is going to happen. WWE obviously has big plans for The Undertaker if he's pretty much saying that WrestleMania will no longer be the benchmark for what he does during the year. He is back. He's taking souls and digging graves. Or taking souls and digging holes is what he said, exactly. So, that's what I think the WWE has planned. It's a nice way to ease him into a feud with AJ Styles, and it also gives SmackDown that reason to be energized to go out there and win. And when they don't, the captain has to go down with the ship. That's what they say, right? Women and children first. Everybody else goes first. AJ Styles goes down with the ship, and when that ship goes down, you're going to be staring at the Grim Reaper. So that's what I think they're going to be doing for the Royal Rumble. That's just my interpretation of it. That's my prediction. That's my opinion on what I think the WWE has planned. Let me know if you guys think anything else about that. But we might very well be seeing The Undertaker versus AJ Styles in San Antonio, Texas for the 2017 Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship. And then this is the way that John Cena gets his championship match at WrestleMania against the Dead Man. And then we can just take it from there. Obviously, it's going to be split 50-50, but whatever the case may be, I think that is where they are going. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section. Other than that, SmackDown was a very, very enjoyable show. It's amazing. It is night and day between Monday Night Raw. I'm falling asleep on Monday, and I'm wide awake on Tuesday, man. I don't know what it is, but listen, it's just an overall better show, and they've produced better television. And you cannot sit there and argue with me, man. It is absolute 100% facts that SmackDown is the better show. They started the show off with the Intercontinental Championship match, Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. One thing I did like is that this match went past 8:30. Obviously, Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan came out to pretty much start the show off, telling you what was going to happen tonight. Edge was back, Undertaker was back. They're starting off with the Intercontinental Championship. So the Miz and Dolph Ziggler got at least 20 plus minutes to open SmackDown. What a breath of fresh air to see actual wrestling start a show with no bullshit behind it. No Stephanie, no Mick Foley, no Roman Reigns, no Seth Rollins, no List, no Jericho. You know, even though I love Jericho, I want to see fucking bell-to-bell wrestling. And that's exactly what they did. They made the Intercontinental Championship important. We're starting the show off with a championship match. The one thing I did not like is the fact that there was 2 commercial breaks in this match. Why are you going to go to commercial break twice during an Intercontinental Championship match? 1, I can deal with. 2 is overkill. Especially the second one being right after a fucking near fall that I thought was a 3 count, and then they go to commercial break. How are you going to put the viewer up on such a pedestal with such a high and then take them right back down with a fucking commercial that lasts 4 minutes? Come on, man. This is a championship match. Why are you taking commercials during a championship match? Couldn't take another fucking commercial during that clusterfuck of a tag team match that we had tonight. Couldn't take a fucking commercial during, I don't know, the women's match tonight. I mean, give me a break. Seriously. When you have something important to do, maintain your show on television. Do not go to a commercial break. When you do that, you give the finger to the fans and everybody watching at home. It sucks, and it's fucking absolutely disgusting. So that was one of my biggest negatives during this match. The match, otherwise, listen, The Miz and Dolph Ziggler have absolutely been one of the best feuds all year, and that's saying a lot. And with these two guys, they are the definition of why the brand split was needed. Dolph Ziggler became great. We've seen some of the best work from Dolph Ziggler in years. The Miz has become one of the best heels in WWE. Miz now is a top-level heel in WWE. If you move this guy to SmackDown, you are killing, and I mean in all capital letters, killing this man's hard work and flushing it down the toilet. The Miz cannot go to Monday Night Raw. He will be absolutely fucking castrated on Monday nights. So that cannot happen. I honestly thought that Dolph Ziggler was going to win this match. I really thought Dolph was going to win this match and he was going to go on to Survivor Series and challenge Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. That was not the case. We have a new champion crowned at 18 minutes with a small package. The ending of this match sees a zigzag get another near fall on The Miz. The Spirit Squad come out for a distraction, set up the figure 4 by The Miz. Ziggler makes the ropes and grabs a small package. He has The Miz in a small package. Maurice is on the outside. Both men in the pinning combination near the ropes. Maurice shoves into the Miz. She pushes into the back of her husband, reverses the small package so that the Miz is the one having the pinfall. 1, 2, 3 at 18 minutes. The Miz wins with a distraction small package, or a cheap way at a small package, and he is crowned the new Intercontinental Champion. I had a thought in my head that I was going to see a reversal of a decision. I thought Daniel Bryan was going to come out. I thought Shane McMahon was going to come out. A second referee was going to come out and reverse the decision. I was actually shocked that we got the Miz with the Intercontinental Championship again. And they've been putting on great work. They've been putting on great work, and this was no different. Very enjoyable match. The crowd was eating it up, and they were into it. People were on their feet mid-match. When was the last time you seen people on their feet on Monday Night Raw? I don't know. I really don't know. Especially during the beginning of a show. Usually at the beginning of the show, they're fucking dreading just by the outset, and when you see Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon, they're already fucking falling asleep. These people were on their feet for a match with two guys who have done some of the best work of their lives on SmackDown Live. Good on them. But what does this mean for Survivor Series now? Well, now we have The Miz versus Sami Zayn. I was hoping for Dolph Ziggler versus Sami Zayn because I know for a fact the work that Dolph Ziggler does and the work that Sami Zayn does would have been the match of the night. That's just my opinion on that. So now we got The Miz versus Sami Zayn. Okay. But why are you flip-flopping the title from Dolph Ziggler to The Miz again? What does this mean for the Intercontinental Championship? Does this mean that Sami Zayn is not going to win the Intercontinental Championship now? Because there's no reason for them to put the title back on The Miz if you're only going to take it off of him 5 days later at the Survivor Series. So right now, my choice going into Survivor Series is The Miz retaining and keeping the title on SmackDown. Maybe they weave some storyline with Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon, more notably Stephanie McMahon getting pissed at Sami Zayn because, remember, not this week, but last week, she stated that you don't deserve this match anyway. I think this match and this honor belongs to Rusev. And the sight of you and the sound of your ska music and the fucking enthusiasm that you give off when you come down the aisle, it sickens me. Stephanie McMahon fucking pretty much castrated this guy live on television last week. So maybe they weave some storyline where Stephanie McMahon is so fucking pissed off at Sami Zayn for failing to bring back the Intercontinental Championship to Monday Night Raw, that in turn, she concocts a trade with her brother, Shane, to get Sami off of Monday Night Raw, and in return, they get somebody from SmackDown. I don't know. Or, this is another thing I thought about during the week, being that Maurice did interfere. Right now, Dolph Ziggler doesn't have a role at Survivor Series. I mean, Dolph Ziggler's been one of your best performers in 2016. How are you not going to have him on Survivor Series? Maybe through WWE.com, maybe through Twitter, they include Sami Zayn, The Miz, and Dolph Ziggler all collectively in Survivor Series and make it a triple threat match. Now, that's something I can deal with. But I honestly think someone is switching brands. Whether it's Zayn going to SmackDown, whether it's Ziggler going to Raw, Miz going to Raw, none of that makes sense. Sami Zayn is the best choice to move from Raw to SmackDown because he's not doing anything on Monday Night Raw, and WWE is not going to have any plans for Sami Zayn on Monday Night Raw. Daniel Bryan said it himself on the State of the WWE Universe address that they had after Monday Night Raw last night. Cesaro and Sami Zayn were two guys that came up to him in the back who are very unhappy about being on Monday Night Raw. They want to be on SmackDown. And he said it while uttering to Mick Foley, well, Mick, you left your GM position to go wrestle in TNA. He name-dropped TNA on Monday Night Raw. And he also mentioned Cesaro by his first name, Claudio. He's like, Claudio, oh, excuse me, Cesaro. And Sami Zayn came up to me before we actually came out here live, and they told me they'd rather be on SmackDown Live. Because the brand split, what we're doing with the brand split is what Vince McMahon wanted. The initiative, the thought behind the brand split was to create new stars, and that's exactly what we are doing. We are the brand that is presenting opportunity to everybody. How many new stars have come from Monday Night Raw? One. And who is that? Braun Strowman. And he's not even at that level yet. They're just now getting the wheels rolling with Braun Strowman. Meanwhile, you have Sami Zayn. Meanwhile, you have Rusev. Meanwhile, you have Neville, who you're not doing anything with. Correct? You got Anderson, you got Gallows. WWE is continuously pushing the familiar faces and not giving a flying fuck about everybody else that should have been an important piece with this brand split. Meanwhile, SmackDown is doing everything right with the brand split. Yes, there are fuck-ups. Apollo Crews is not being utilized. Baron Corbin is not being utilized. Kalisto hasn't really been utilized, you know? The Vaudevillains, the Ascension aren't really being utilized. Tyler Breeze and Fandango really aren't being utilized. But look at what SmackDown has done for The Miz. Look at what SmackDown has done for Ambrose. Look at what SmackDown has done for Dolph Ziggler. Look at what SmackDown has done for Heath Slater. You had an entire fucking arena chanting for Heath Slater, and he wasn't even in the tag team match tonight. Look at what SmackDown's done for Rhino. Rhino was supposed to be an enhancement talent coming over to SmackDown. He's fucking tag team champion. He's standing next to and tagging with one of the most over guys on that roster. So more than what Monday Night Raw has done, SmackDown has done a lot more with the brand extension and the brand split than Monday Night Raw. Raw has done nothing. Nothing. They had Finn Balor, but he got injured. Finn Balor would have been the second guy built on that. Bayley hasn't been built, right? Sasha really hasn't done anything. They took the title off of her due to rumors that Vince McMahon was upset with Sasha for the finish of Hell in a Cell. Charlotte is the same fucking bullshit every single week. They haven't built up Nia Jax. They haven't taken Alicia Fox from catering and put her on television. The only reason why you're seeing her is because they need her for Survivor Series. Summer Rae, right? They got Emma. They're changing Emma's gimmick completely, which was fucking unbelievable in NXT. Evil Emma, and now they're turning her into a fucking runway model. God knows how they're going to fucking ruin this woman's career. You know? Monday Night Raw hasn't done as much as SmackDown, and anybody with a brain can realize that. I mean, they have a whole fucking division that was edge of your seat excitement coming out of the Cruiserweight Classic, and in 2 months, they completely fucking destroyed an entire division. I mean, how can anyone be Team Raw? I'm not even talking about the fucking bullshit storyline-wise that we're saying. I don't give a fuck who your team or who your team is, Team Raw, Team SmackDown. I'm Team SmackDown because, logically, from a business standpoint, they're doing everything correctly. Monday Night Raw has not done anything correctly at all. That's why I'm Team SmackDown. And they're only going to get better. TLC is going to be a great show. What they do for the Royal Rumble is going to be a great show. With The Undertaker back, it's going to be a great show. You know? SmackDown has everything riding for it. Everything going for it. And I'm happy to be Team SmackDown. What I do here is vastly different than what you see on Monday nights. Why? Because I enjoy good wrestling. I know what's good when I see it. It's not the greatest show every week. I don't expect it to be. But I want to be treated like a fan. And I don't want to have my intelligence insulted on Monday nights. On Monday nights, I'm yawning, my eyes are tearing. All I want to do is fucking get done with the review and go to sleep. That's exactly what I did last night. Done. Tonight, I got energy. Because I was excited. They gave me a reason to watch. And they're giving you a reason to tune into SmackDown with what was done tonight. SmackDown is so much better, man. I can't really fucking explain it to you anymore. But with The Miz, I am not going to be surprised. I'm making a prediction that this will be turned into a triple threat. I do not see Dolph Ziggler being off Survivor Series. He's done too much and he's worked too hard, and I think he deserves to be thrown into that match, especially with the way the match ended tonight. Where they go from there, I have no idea. All I know is the Intercontinental title should not be on Monday Night Raw because they do not need 2 mid-card titles. They don't have a mid-card to begin with. You need to have a mid-card on SmackDown for those guys to fight for. The Intercontinental Championship, I've been watching documentaries on the Intercontinental Championship on the network. You know, every one of these guys, and they went through the list, a countdown list on the WWE network. You know, they went through 10 guys, and every one of those guys was a borderline WWE champion. They were being groomed for the WWE Championship. If you're not going to put the Intercontinental Championship on someone who is going to be the next heir apparent to the WWE Championship, you're not doing the title justice. If you're going to be flip-flopping it back and forth, I understand this feud has been great and it's been competitive. Fine. They're doing good by the title, but it needs to mean more. And you don't need to move this title over to SmackDown or Monday Night Raw from SmackDown and add more championships to the company. That's the last thing we need, is more meaningless championships. The titles aren't meaningful in WWE. You're going to add more championships on top of championships that right now mean nothing. The tag team championships mean nothing on Raw. Universal Championship, the Cruiserweight Championship. The Women's Championship don't even mean anything. It doesn't. In a two-woman division, it doesn't mean jack shit. The only title that means something to me in the company right now is the Intercontinental Championship and the WWE Championship. That's it. Everything else, you probably make a statement for the Women's Championship as well on SmackDown. Again, SmackDown doing everything correctly. Monday Night Raw hasn't done a goddamn thing right since this brand extension at all. But I would not be surprised if this is a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. I just don't see The Miz. Let me rephrase that. I don't see Dolph Ziggler not being on Survivor Series. That's it. Kalisto versus Oney Lorcan. This match went 1 minute. Salida del Sol. Kalisto got some little momentum underneath him going into Survivor Series with that big match against Brian Kendrick. The other match that I'm going to be heavily invested in. Oney Lorcan comes from NXT. He is Biff Busick. Joe Cronin actually called a few of his matches down at Top Rope Promotions. He came from Massachusetts in the independent circuit. I would like to see a lot of Oney Lorcan, man. I think he's intense. You know, I think he can add a lot to the Cruiserweight division, and hopefully we see a lot of him on 205 Live. I think he's got great intensity, and I would like to see more of him, man. Definitely. Oney Lorcan got great upside, in my honest opinion. They were showing montages all night from when SmackDown was actually very, very good. Can't miss. The Rock, Triple H, Kurt Angle, John Cena, The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, King Booker, you know, which led to King Booker coming back. There was a segment with Heath Slater and Rhino. They brought in a motivational speaker, which ended up being Booker T, dressed in his crown and his cape with his scepter and his scroll. Before he can read his proclamation, Breezango comes in and gives everybody a ticket for their fashion sense. This turns him into Booker T, and he pretty much scolds them, yelling at Breezango and saying, listen, this is what you guys are doing. You know, you got to get serious. You know, get out of these fucking clothes and put on a fucking SmackDown shirt and represent your tag team going into Survivor Series. Enough of this fun and games. And then everybody says, all hail King Booker. And funny moment here, but Fandango called King Booker King Booger. Nobody laughed. I laughed. Nobody laughed. Anyway, Nikki Bella versus Carmela. We got a match here tonight with these women that went 11 minutes and 34 seconds. The main thing about this match is the Raw Women's Division invaded. First, we see Charlotte coming down mid-match. She's waving a ticket in the air, saying that she bought a ticket. She's sitting front row. And then, towards the end of this match, we see a disaster kick sending Carmela to the outside. And there's a big shout-out or some argument between Bella and Charlotte. And everybody starts invading. The entire Raw Women's team comes in and starts beating the shit out of the SmackDown Women's team. You know? Or Nikki Bella, rather. And then the SmackDown team comes out and they start, you know, going fisticuffs. And SmackDown actually got the advantage over the Raw Women. The SmackDown Live Women's Division sent the Raw Women's Division running up the ramp. There was a spot here where Nia Jax missed a spear, I believe on Nikki Bella, as she went fucking blasting into the Timekeeper's area. So she hit that barricade really hard, and it's nice to see some physicality with the women. I think this is going to be a very good match. It's going to be very competitive. But this is what should have happened on Monday Night Raw. We should have seen SmackDown do this on Monday Night Raw, and then in turn, Monday Night Raw do this to SmackDown on their show. It would have made it a lot more interesting. And I would have liked to seen that at least with the women and at least with the main guys, the Team Raw and Team SmackDown rosters for this big 5-on-5 match. I would have liked to see that incorporated into Raw and then again here on SmackDown. But WWE didn't go that route, but at least we got some resemblance of that with the women tonight. Great moment there where Charlotte leads her women to infiltrate SmackDown and they get bested by Team SmackDown. Going to be a very, very, very good match at the pay-per-view in my opinion. We had a clusterfuck tag team match. Headbangers, Ascension, Spirit Squad, Vaudevillains versus the Usos, Hype Bros, Breezango, and American Alpha. American Alpha is going to be a major player in this tag team match. I think they're going to be the ones to look out for. I think Team SmackDown is going to win this match. And I think WWE owes it to SmackDown to have that division win it. American Alpha needs something to catapult them from pretty much nothing right now to another several levels up. I think this is what's going to be American Alpha's platform to pretty much state, you know what, these guys are here and they're fucking serious. They need to be taken seriously. So I think Team SmackDown is going to win this tag team match. I don't know how they're going to do it, and I have an idea for this match that I'm going to talk about on Fridays off the script when we do Survivor Series preview and predictions. I'm going to go over the entire card. I don't know how they're going to handle this match. 20 men. 20 men. 10 on each fucking corner. I don't know how they're going to handle it. It's going to look absolutely like a disaster. So I don't know what they're going to do here. But in the end, we had American Alpha's team win here. They hit the Grand Amplitude in the end to finish off their opponents tonight. And that was pretty much it, man. That was SmackDown. Wasn't the greatest show, but the main parts here were The Undertaker and what he said. And that alone stirs the pot immensely for SmackDown. Am I looking forward to Survivor Series? Yes. Certain parts of it. I'm looking forward to what they do with the Intercontinental Championship. I'm looking forward to what they do with the Cruiserweight division, being that Kalisto is challenging Brian Kendrick. If he wins, the entire Cruiserweights go over to SmackDown. And now, they've added stakes. Nothing really of importance is on the line. But it's definitely intriguing just by mere words uttered by The Undertaker to what he said to his SmackDown colleagues. If they do not win, they're going to have to face consequences on his behalf. So what does that mean? That adds, alone, a lot more intrigue to this match than there already was. So, I like it, and we got a lot to look forward to on SmackDown, man. Definitely going to be an exciting time as we finish Survivor Series and we head on into TLC and then obviously into the Royal Rumble. Business is about to pick up, and I'm very excited to see where they go, especially now with The Undertaker saying that he has returned to the WWE, and it's not just going to be limited to WrestleMania. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you missed my video from earlier, it's linked down below and with the annotations on the screen on the right-hand side with that little exclamation point. Make sure you guys check that out. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. If you guys want to support the channel and what I do here, patreon.com/JD from NY206. And please subscribe to the channel. YouTube is in its most broken state ever. So please, I need your support more than ever. Nowadays, with YouTube being broken, hopefully things will be rectified sooner rather than later. But please, if you guys want to subscribe and you like what you hear, do so. Hit that subscribe button. We got Off the Script coming on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with more Survivor Series news throughout the week. Tomorrow night, go-home show for NXT Toronto TakeOver and Aztec Warfare for Lucha Underground. This will be my first Aztec Warfare ever watching it live on the El Rey Network. I'm fucking excited for it. Can't wait to see what's going on with that, with the Monster Matanza defending his Lucha Underground Championship in Aztec Warfare against 19 other men, coming in at number 1. Can he last? And I'm very interested to see what Lucha Underground does as they continue to build Matanza up as an unstoppable beast. All that tomorrow and rest of the week, man. I got enough content to keep you guys happy. Thank you guys so much. I'm JD. Hit that thumbs up, and I will see you all tomorrow night for Lucha Underground and NXT. Talk to you later.